All right, boys. This is the trippy one. Deja vu is dreams that you had of the future. Of course, I don't have no way to prove this unequivocally, but I have a personal experience that, to me and in my mind, makes it unquestionable. So, obviously, I guess every single one of us out there has tripped out on deja vu before. What is it? It's this weird, immaterial, translucent sensation of an event having a familiarity to it. An event that seemingly, by all reason and account, should be a new experience. In some cases, it's a very new experience. In some cases, not. But it has this overwhelming sense that, hey, I've been here before. I've done this before. This is not the first time I'm experiencing this. And we call it deja vu. And we pretty much just go about our business and don't think too much of it this way or that way. But I have an experience that tells me beyond any shadow of a doubt that, at least in some cases, that feeling of deja vu is a previous dream that you saw the future in, or at least I did. So I'm going to tell that story today, my personal experience with that, and I'm very curious to see if anybody else has a similar experience, a similar story where they had this happen to them, or maybe will be great if you don't have it, like it's not clocked in your head, but me telling this story will kind of ignite a memory that make you realize or double think back, like, hold on a second, that was a dream. I dreamt this. So my story goes like this, yeah. It's not some profound, it wasn't some prophetic thing that happened in my life and it was some game changer. It was a very mundane sequence of events. But I was a teenager, I don't know what age. When I was a kid, I played a lot of video games. Tekken was a big one, the fighting game. And I think it was Tekken 7. I can't quote me on that, but I think it was Tekken 7 it was coming out. And this is back before the internet was really big and they were doing, like, big brands were doing a lot of heavy push towards the promotion of the games and releasing what it's going to look like and gameplay and characters and all that. It was not so big back then, or even if it was out there, it wasn't something that I'd looked at. And I'm sure it wasn't, by the way, because I was an internet kid and I would research this stuff. I was excited for this game to come out. And leading up to it, a few weeks before, wasn't all that long before, I had an alarm set for something like 5 a.m. I was doing a job at that time that required me to get up early. And I remember having this vivid dream. And it was of this next Tekken game that was coming out. It was due to come out in a few weeks. And I think it was Tekken 7. And in this dream, it was a very, like I said, a mundane dream. I was inside my bedroom where I had a big TV set up there, where I had my PlayStation set up, and that's where I would play the games. And a mate of mine who hadn't been at my place for months at this point. And actually, he was the gamer guy of my mates. And I would always be at his house playing the games, not the other way around. So that was the one difference. And he had he had his own section of the house that was just cordoned off for him. And that's where he played his games. And everybody went around his place to play. So that was a very well-established thing in my friend group at that time. So he was at my place. I had an office chair and a desk and a computer set up. And then I had my bed and I had the big TV there set up. And I was on the bed, lying down, playing the game, and he was sitting in my office chair, playing the game. And we were playing this unreleased game. And I remember it so vividly. We were playing two new characters that hadn't been released yet. And I hadn't seen these characters, like, at all, in any respect. I hadn't seen the new characters. It's possible that I knew there was going to be new characters in the game, but I hadn't seen it. And here we are, playing the new characters in the game, and I'm sitting there, and I remember, like in the dream, being so stoked and excited that we were playing the new Tekken. It was out, and we were playing it. And then my alarm went off. So it was 5 a.m. or whatever early time I had to get up, and I woke up, and I remember sitting there in my confuddled state, as you do when you woke up, when you got jolted awake and thinking, wow, that was a mad dream. I was dreaming. I was dreaming about playing Tekken, and I had it. I ruminated on it for a second, and I really thought about the details of the game. I was like, yeah, it was like a new character and blah. So I really thought about it, marinated on it for a second. Whatever, that was it. I got up, went to work. So, cut to a few weeks later. Next thing you know, Tekken comes out. I go get it, communicating with the boys a little bit. We're sitting there, we organize, we chuck it on, we're sitting around playing. It's actually just me and a mate, and we're sitting around playing. Boom, character select. Boom, we start, we go into the game. Let's try the new characters. Start. The game starts, we start fighting, flipping, and then boom. You know that feeling of deja vu starts kicking in. I'm like, wow, this is a spin out. I'm sitting there like that, playing, and I'm thinking to myself, this deja vu, I've been here before. And I look over at my mate, and he's sitting there in this exact position, sitting on my office chair, leaning in, and I'm there lying down on the bed, and I look back at the screen, and I see the character there, the thing, I look down at my hands, and then it all just rushes and hits me at once. And I realize I have dreamt this exact moment 2-3 weeks ago, and to the exact specific detail for a game that's unreleased. There's no chance that I confused an old memory with a new memory. No chance. It's just a plain fact that this is my dream. And the way it hit me is because I got that overwhelming feeling of deja vu, and it all started to flood in as it does when you're doing the deja vu thing and you're like, bro, I've been here before, So that for me was mind-blowing. That was probably close to 15 years ago or something like that. And from that moment on, I knew unquestionably that we dream the future sometimes. It happened. I did it. You can't convince me that something else took that place because of the very specific sequence of events, strange events in my life, even like this specific mate who was sitting there doesn't normally come play games at my house. We go to his place, play PlayStation, and at the highest extent, this game wasn't even out. This is the first day that was out, and the characters had never been seen before, and here I was playing with these characters, and I hadn't seen them before. And I remember that dream because I'd woken up under the specific circumstances, and I was excited for it, so I was really enjoying the fact that I really replayed that dream over in my head, which helped solidify it as a memory. That's crazy, right? I don't know, as long as I've been alive, I've told this story to a lot of people, and I'm always keeping my ear to these type of kind of more metaphysical topics. I've never once heard somebody talk about deja vu even potentially being a dream of the future. So here I am to tell you, it is. At least in some cases, it is. I'm pretty sure it's happened more than that one time. It's happened to me at least one other time that I'm quite sure of, but I won't tell that story because I don't have the certainty, and I'll only talk about what I'm certain about. And these circumstances, I'm 100% certain about. The other one, it's a little bit up in the air. Can't trust it. So that's it. That's crazy, right? And I guess it leads into this other question of kind of the spiritual realm and the metaphysical realm and this interdimensional kind of experience that we have. What are dreams? What are thoughts? What are goals and aspirations and these kind of untangible things that are clearly real? It's not like we can't discount them as much as kind of scientism, atheists like to do so. We can't discount these things, and we don't have answers for it. We don't have classical answers for these things. But deja vus are definitely in some cases a dream of the future. And I'm not trying to push it because that might even be divination or something. I'm not trying to do that to push like that we should delve into that. I didn't do anything intentionally. It just happened like that. But yeah, there is another dimension. There's something to this world where there is an interdimensional there is a spiritual realm that we have access to. We access in dreams. We access in psychedelic states. People messing around with psychedelics, which I did a lot in my life. I don't recommend, but I did it a lot in my life. And people have very similar experiences in those realms, see similar beings and entities. And here, this dream, and it reminds me, like a lot of thoughts pop up, you know. I learned when I was pretty young, maybe a teenager, I learned something about the Kabbalah, and that I think in the Kabbalah they have certain levels to the soul, or some different parts of the soul. I'm not pushing Kabbalah, by the way. It's, by all accounts, heavily satanic in a lot of ways. But it doesn't mean there can't be some truth within it. But yeah, I remember they say that something, I'm not going to get it exact, but something along the lines of there's certain layers to the soul, and during sleep, a certain amount of those layers leave the body. And then the certain ones that are required to stay behind and keep the body alive, they stay behind, and the rest go away. So there's also an old saying that says sleep is the cousin of death, which that reminds me of as well. But then you've also got the prophetic in the scriptures. Many of the prophets and many prophetic visions came through dreams, and it's a known thing even to this day that people get prophetic visions through dreams. So it is it's a very interesting concept to think about, this layer to reality, that we can dream and experience either messages from the other side, from the spiritual world, or even something as crazy as viewing the future. Like, what does that mean? I'm not sure if there are classical answers to that. I don't. Obviously, divination is frowned upon, right? Divination is an act against God, and it's definitely not something that I'm interested in dabbling with, even though maybe in my past I might have, being more into the kind of new age side of things. But God also gives visions to people as well, which is interesting. So it leads us back to this deja vu, and it's another thing that kind of affirms the unseen world, which science and scientism, which is the religion that it actually is, whether they want to accept it or not, and atheism, which these things are real. Like, where do they fit this in? They just kind of discard all this stuff in a box on the side and just pretend like it doesn't exist because it doesn't match their worldview, and they can't hit it with a hammer, and they can't put it in a test tube and boil it, and that's strange to me. But I think I hope to ignite this thought in some people's heads. Maybe you are even a non-believer. Maybe you're somewhere on your road to believing. But it is kind of it's a signal. It shines a light on the unseen world and to the existence of God and this metaphysical reality, this metaphysical aspect of reality. You don't have to believe in God yet, but this kind of element, this deja vu thing, that it's such a mundane thing for a lot of us, we experience often enough, and it is shining a light on that unseen world that our material world doesn't really want to deal with. And I think that's interesting. So maybe just next time, pay attention to deja vu while it's happening and try and catch it in the act and understand, or try and trace back the origins of this feeling. Is this something that you've just done multiple times in the past, like in an office setting with that coworker and this and that? Or is it something deeper than that? Could it have possibly been a dream? And then what does that tell you about our reality? Is it as simple as just to discard everything that you can't hit with a hammer and put in a test tube? That's my challenge. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. As always, like and comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. The comments have been great lately. I'm thoroughly enjoying engaging with them, and plan to continue doing so. So keep them coming. If you've got pushback, as always, push back, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Until the next time, God bless.